Well, hello, my beautiful Scorpio. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with a little bonus reading all about you. I've already cleansed your space and I've meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretending to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I'm using GAIA chimes, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound. Also, something that may benefit you during this time as you take a breath for yourself is to really visualize the sort of changes you desire to see in your life right now. You know, things like finances, love, career, your environment, whatever it is you aspire to achieve at this moment in time. Utilize this moment to really visualize and manifest, because the Gaia chimes recalibrate vibrations to help you connect to all that you desire, okay? So something to think about during this time. Let us start your reading and let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Scorpio, this is a little bonus reading all about you. Us tarot readers, we tend to focus on career, money, love, but we never ask how are you doing. So this reading is going to tap into what's going on with you right now and how you're moving through this time period, of course. Don't know if you noticed with the Gaia chimes, very rich, intense, sort of very thoughtful energy coming out there. I feel like you are delving deeper. I really get an energy here of you rewiring in some way, shifting in some way, and navigating change, okay? So let's see what comes out with your cards. Also, I will be running another competition, a free competition for one subscriber to win a free personal reading from me, but I'll let you know how to win that a little bit later on, because some people are here just for the reading and I don't like to waste anyone's time. So let's get straight to it. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Scorpio? What do they need to be aware of at this moment in time? Can you please show them the way? I really felt a very rich inner world, you know, very cerebral, really thoughtful, you know, very vigilant, witnessing things around you, taking stock, taking note, documenting. You know, I really got a sense that you are acutely aware of the subtext or the undercurrent of life in general, not just localized to you. I feel like you are watching the world as well. I feel like you are very awakened, very aware, you know, of what's going on in the world around you. Look, I felt it in your energy. Look at that. Out of all the cards you could have got, the world came out there. So I do feel that you are watching and waiting, looking at structures, you know, but the world is there. So you feel it heavy in your energy right now. Now, of course, you know, I always say the world is full of many different layers. There's your world. There's, you know, your connections with the people around you. There is your inner world. There is, of course, the globe, humanity, you know, all of the things. There's so many layers to life. So you do get to focus on what's important to you at different times. Wow. You are like super intense and powerful right now. I'm a Scorpio. So, I mean, look how many cards there are. You could have got any cards. You got the world and you got the Scorpion. Okay, so you're focused on, of course, your world right now, the changes you want to see. I feel a lot of you are going through a major rebirth or transformation. There's a new you, but also I feel like you are someone who is resilient. And I feel like you're standing your ground on something. I feel you've been through many challenges, many hurts. I feel, you know, there's this energy of you disconnecting. I actually get an energy here straight away of you kind of like surprising yourself with detachment. You're mastering the art of detachment because you don't want to get involved in other people's drama. But it's more than that. I feel like you're witnessing a world that has been turned upside down. I feel there's an energy of you trying to navigate a new world, what it means for you, what it means for your family. You know, you're trying to almost like prepare. Scorpions prepare. They are like almost like hidden away in the little cracks. Don't get me wrong, you're doing life, you're doing your stuff, you're out there happening to life, you know, you're focused on your projects, your successes, depending on what, you know, period in life you are at right now. Some of you may be retired, you know, whatever stage you are at your life right now, I feel like there's this energy of withdrawal to watch and wait and be prepared. There's just this random energy coming out. And the stinger is like ready and waiting, but it's almost like a defense mechanism. You don't like to use it. So even when you have like an argument with a person, don't get me wrong, you probably can go from 0 to 2 million in a second when it comes to your emotions and defend yourself and, you know, really win an argument. You don't want to go there, though. I feel like you're the sort of person who's like, nope, back away. You don't like me when I get angry. So I feel like you're withdrawing yourself from dramas. But I feel there's a much heavier energy on you right now. You may feel that things have been challenging, and you may feel that you're trying to make sense of a world that seems to be different somehow. Perhaps, and I always say this, you know, the world over the last couple of years has reached a new level of crazy. Just when we thought it couldn't, it really kind of like shocks us and pressurizes us and kind of like pushes us in many different directions. And you may be just, you know, really trying to watch, wait, and observe how these changes will affect you. And this could be like global changes. They could be financial changes. I mean, you've got Trident there as well. So you are trying to also, on a personal level, because there's so many layers to you, on a personal level, you're trying to manage intrusive thoughts, really look at your emotions, take command of your emotions. You're aware they're there and they're important because they release pressure. But at the same time, I feel like you don't want to be swamped with your emotions. Sometimes emotions can cloud judgment. So I feel you are mastering the art of detachment. I feel like you've already had it for a very long time, but now it seems to be more relevant than ever, okay? So we've got the ripple effect. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Great Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Scorpio? What do they need to be aware of? I feel like you're doubling down on your sense of purpose, though. It's like, yes, the world may be extra volatile, extra, you know, crazy, extra kind of like intense right now, but it's like you are putting your sense of purpose into review and kind of like recognizing maybe you have more than one purpose. You're digging a little bit deeper, you know. You are kind of like maybe looking at the world from a very abstract point of view as well. Some random energies coming out here. We've got the Buddha. That's finding grounding. We've got the turtle, slow moving process, but also protection. I mean, a lot of you are actually asking where you feel like is home right now. You may be looking at the world, the globe, as a whole place where you're like, where is home? You may be thinking about migrating your life, your business, your intentions, your finances somewhere else at this time. You know, these may be just thoughts at this moment in time. I feel like you're very abreast of world events as well, because that grounding card is there. How would you like to receive? Self-control and handcuffs. Okay. My guides actually want me to go one more, so I will. I definitely see here a path to power. We've got saucer and we've got the chair. Okay. So what I'm getting from your reading straight away here is, for some of you, you may have actually squirreled yourself away to work on something in private, and it feels like off limits or out of bounds. This could be you personally processing something, but it could also be something that you're working on, okay? Something you're trying to complete that will literally have a ripple effect in your life. But you may feel that you've learned in the past that actually telling people it somehow changes the path in some way, or you may be wondering, does it like jinx it if you tell people? But I do see that it's going to be very lucrative, whatever this is. I mean, it could be a personal development project as well. I feel like you're going to be really proud of yourself. But because we have the Sorcerer there, it kind of means that you feel like your secrets are not safe, so you're keeping them to yourself. Okay, so I feel some of you may be witnessing friendships or relationships transforming at this time, evolving, and you're trying to navigate your way through that and trying to sort of work out who you can trust at this moment in time. But I'm also seeing this energy of trying to learn more about yourself and graduate in this school of life, as it were. A lot of you are in a period of knowledge, learning new things, employing your knowledge into like your life in general. It's like you're absorbing a huge amount of information and, you know, trying to follow your heart, trying to fall back in love with your life again. And of course, the Scorpion is in the crossing position. So some of you may feel that you haven't been feeling yourself for a very long time. You may feel, of course, hopeful that you're going to reignite that spark or rediscover who you are. You may feel like you're not quite there yet, but you're starting to awaken a little bit more. So let's get to your first card. We've got the globe, okay, world globe. Now, on a grounded level, this can be that you are aware over the last couple of years, the world is just different. It's a new world, okay? And I know lots of people talk about moving into the new earth and all of those things, but we've already seen the shifts. You know, things that were like, whoa, this is like new, this is weird, this doesn't feel right, or time somehow is like speeding up somehow, or, you know, it just feels like the earth itself, like in terms of its landscape, is groaning, it is pressurized, it is shifting. And you may be feeling it because you're such a sensitive person. But also, I feel like you're trying to look at the layers outside of yourself, but also come back to self. The world is an energy, of course, of you kind of like trying to move ahead or find opportunity in a world that feels somehow shifted, or you feel discombobulated in all of this. It can feel that, you know, you are recognizing the world is under a lot of pressure, and therefore it has flowed into your personal circumstances and things are hard. You know, it actually says here wholeness, completion. So I do feel like you're trying to complete a lot of things in your life and to feel whole in a world where right now, because the Scorpio is in the crossing position, it's like, how do you get back to the fun times? How do you get back to that passionate, deep sense of self? So I feel like you're sitting with yourself. You may have withdrawn. There is this energy of withdrawal, but there's also this craving to integrate, because the world is an integration card. So it can be that, you know, you need the balance between getting out there and having fun with people and connecting to community in some way, or to your hobbies, or to, you know, all the other aspects outside of yourself, like work or travel, all of that stuff. But when it comes to it, it's like somehow it's not hitting in the same way. Something's missing. There's a missing ingredient here. I'm actually seeing in the water a puzzle piece. Some of you are trying to work out what the world's all about right now. What are all these moves? What's happening? Why are different places or countries doing very similar things, and it all seems to be shifting? So a lot of you are very vigilant. You know, this reading is hitting a little bit different. You know, normally this is about you, and I feel like you are actually finding your place in all of these things. But I feel there's this energy where you feel maybe you needed to disconnect in some way to witness things in a different way. Like when we have emotion and we feel so involved in something, and this could be a relationship that you're witnessing right now that's evolving, like when you're in the middle of it and have the emotions of it, it can be that we don't see as clearly as when we detach. So I feel there's this energy of you kind of like over the last couple of years in general, almost being on autopilot, or having your emotions somehow compartmentalize so that you can be aware of the whole scenario, because the world is the wholeness. It's like you're seeing the whole picture, the bigger picture of everything, of everybody, and seeing the subtext of it. So a lot of you may have gone almost like into overdrive on that and lost a sense of yourself, if that makes sense, okay? But I feel for some of you, it was natural. It kind of had to be that way in terms of self-preservation. And, you know, this is a very deep reading already, and I'm a Scorpio, and I'm like, whoa, we're going to a level. But the Scorpion is all about self-preservation, okay? If you think about the nature of the stinger in a Scorpion, the Scorpion does not want to sting, does not want to. It's there. It is a protective measure. It's like, I am going to preserve myself. I would rather, you know, than have anyone have control, because we've got the handcuffs here. You know, if you think about the Scorpion will sting itself if it thinks that, you know, a predator has control over it. It was like, no, you know what? I'd rather take myself out than have you have any control over me. So I feel there's this energy here of you going, you know what? I'm making sure that I preserve myself in the situation and that I am the master or the mistress of my destiny. I will not be controlled. And this can be like in terms of relationships. I'm not saying like in terms of global events or world events that you're like not being controlled. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you're witnessing where you're feeling powerless to change circumstances, but at the same time, there's this energy of trying to rediscover self so that you can find your power to control or change some things so that you can benefit and feel comfortable, because we got the chair there, we got the saucer, we got the lion. So this is about you kind of like having the courage to rediscover yourself, having the courage to do things on your own terms, be more independent, but also be aware of like how you fit into some of the structures that are going on around the world. Okay, now let's bring it back to this card, because we do have travel opportunities. These are things all outside of yourself, of course, but these can be things that you're thinking about and how you relate. And I'm only mentioning that because you do have the Scorpion card. So it's like, how does this affect me? How's the world affecting me? How is the news affecting me? How is, you know, all these weird weather-related events affecting me? How is, you know, the earth crying out for, you know, help in some way? How is it affecting me? What can I do about it? And for some of you, there is this heaviness because you feel like there is a powerlessness, because you do have the handcuffs there. The fear is the powerlessness of a situation where you feel bound to a situation. But I feel the layers are asking you, and you are aware of it, you're helping where you can. Okay, I do feel you're doing what you can do in the circumstances that you've got. But, you know, we also have moving abroad, foreign or foreigner, and wholeness and completion. So some of you, there is this energy of the way things used to be, it feels like it's different. It's like it's foreign to you now. It just feels like somehow it is not familiar. And this could be the world, or it can be your world. Somehow you may notice that your spark has diminished for certain things that used to excite you, your hobbies. It just feels like it's different. It's not fulfilling. And it can be that you have put almost like your sense of self on autopilot because you've been in fight or flight mode or in self-preservation mode over the last couple of years. Okay, so that's something that's coming out strongly. It may not resonate with everyone, but this is something that perhaps you've been thinking about when you have secret, quiet thoughts within yourself. It's like, where am I? You know, it's like, I can't see myself in these things anymore. So you may be searching, doing a lot of soul searching, and you may have become quieter or less involved in things. You know, of course, there may be sporadic moments of wanting to connect, but something just feels different in the way that you're connecting. And that's something that's coming out in this reading. But of course, it may not resonate with everyone. I just feel there's an energy where you're looking to move from this place. Okay, so that you can feel more whole, because this is the grounding card. It means that you want to be more grounded. You want to, you know, have a full life. You're here to live a full life, not a half life lived. You know, you are the sign that explores the intensity and the levels of life, of people, of the human psyche. It's like you are not surface level. You know, if you think about the world, it has many levels right down to the very core, the magma of the whole planet. And there is a passion, a spark, a fire that is in you. And it's always been there. But some of you may feel that life has taught you to be in a little box of expectation or even responsibility at this moment in time. The heaviness of all the changes in the world, it feels like you've been laying dormant. Okay, there's just something here where it's like you are rediscovering your power, you are coming back to best, and it feels like this energy, even if it's not connected to the world per se, it can be like, I need to move from this place in order to feel more whole. And it doesn't even have to be a place. It can be, I need to move from this state of mind in order to feel more whole or more fulfilled. So I feel a lot of you are trying to navigate a world full of responsibility, hardship, challenge, pressure, because the world right now is pressurized. And it can be that you are trying to find your way back to yourself. And of course, the world, because it has shown up there for you, empathy burnout is real. When we feel so intensely, sometimes as a self-preservation mode, and this can be with friendships, relationships, but also the day-to-day living of stuff, that you had to shut down a part of yourself in order to be like, you know what? I need to focus on my stability. I need to focus on like life and being comfortable, being secure, because you have the chair right there, okay? So I feel this is about kind of like being a little bit more in command, being comfortable or feeling stable in your situation. And you may feel that the world is changing and you are someone who's very intuitive. You may be preempting whatever is going on right now, that there is a ripple effect in the future and you feel like you need to be ready, okay? So that's something that's huge that's coming out in this reading right now. But also you can apply this to other things outside of yourself. Of course, it can be that you preempt changes in your neighborhood or in your career. And it can be that the things that you do now to encompass this wholeness, maybe even learn new things, get new qualifications, certifications, will help you as a ripple effect to be secure, to have power, to be long lasting, to weather any changes or any storms. So there is this energy right now of you being like ahead of what you preempt the changes to be, because there is a ripple effect. It's like what's happening now will ripple effect out into your future. So you could be doing so much right now. You could be like super busy trying to ground yourself, maybe discover where you feel like you belong in the world at large. This is moving abroad, it says here. It can be like foreign. You may be learning new things, new cultures, new experiences. You may be thinking about migrating your life or looking at financial opportunities in different parts of the world that help you preserve your finances. You may be looking at where you feel like you're at right now and going, okay, I need to think about everything. And the Scorpion, of course, is an energy of control. Okay, to some degree, you may feel that there is some sort of control going on, or you may feel a lack of control in your circumstances, and it's triggered something within you to preserve, protect, or to be vigilant. Okay, so that's coming out there. I feel a lot of you, if you've been laying dormant and feeling that spark, that inner passion has been kind of like a little bit dampened due to responsibility or maybe even global events, things that have happened in the last couple of years that we're all trying to recalibrate from, even the economy trying to find its way back to something. And it can be that you are rediscovering that gravitas within yourself, that magnetism, that power that you feel perhaps you got to a certain level in your life with, and you feel it kind of stopped in some way and everything got put on hold. Even though you're busy, you're under a lot of pressure, you are keeping it all together, life. I mean, you're doing a lot. To have the world, it means you're doing everything, okay? And it can be that you are trying to reignite that spark for more fun times, for more adventures. It's like, when did things get so heavy? When did responsibility just become the absolute everything? When did life get so serious? So some of you may be feeling a little bit disconnected in order to rediscover self, to really go inwards and remember who you are, remember your power, remember your crown. It says here control, magnetism, lust, and sensuality, and destroying before rebuilding. So some of you, not all of you, but some of you may have had something go on in your life that was so monumental, that really did a foundational shift in your life, where you've been rebuilding ever since, or rediscovering who you are ever since. You know, it can be that it's almost like you've had this rebirth, wiping the slate clean, whether it is you've taken your career in a different direction, whether it is the last couple of years wiped out the life that you felt like you used to lead or the way you felt about the world, whether it is a relationship that you separated from and it just feels like you've lost yourself in all of this and you're in like the washing machine of life at the moment for some of you, because you're a very emotional person, but it feels very much like you have felt like you've been tossed and turned a little bit, because this card is in the crossing position, which can indicate that you don't feel like you're in control. It feels like to some degree that you go unnoticed, that you've lost your magnetism, but actually it's there. It's just laying dormant. It's there for you to rediscover. And you will be in control again. We got the lion there, okay? So this is about your personal power. This is about being a leader. You're a natural leader. In fact, you're a light worker. And I feel like you're an old soul as well. And sometimes, you know, we go through lessons that are challenging because you do have a lessons card, a graduation. So I feel like you are awakening and elevating. And I feel sometimes when people awaken and elevate, they see things that perhaps other people don't see, and that can be a very isolating experience. It can feel like you're like out there on a limb on your own saying, I feel this is going to happen, or I know this, and this doesn't have to be in terms of global events. This doesn't have to be huge. It can be in terms of like friendships. It can be like, I don't trust that person. They're giving me a vibe. And everyone's like, come on, Scorpio, chill out. You know, they're fine. They're fun. You're like, no, something about that person is giving me the jeebies. I don't like it. And they're like, look, you're too intense. Just chill out. And you're like, okay. And then something happens and suddenly you're like, I don't want to say I told you so, but I was right. So I feel some of you, it can be that either you feel misunderstood or dismissed in some of your intuitive leanings. Always trust your intuition. Very important. And I feel that, you know, the right people will gravitate towards you and will listen and will learn that actually, you know, you're connected to something otherworldly because you have the world card there. You're connected to a vibration where your heart just knows the way, and it also knows when there is someone who is not authentic in your sphere. You know, you have intuition there. The trident is there for a reason. It means, you know, you have a depth of emotion, which is almost like a supercomputer where you can intuitively know what is the truth. It's like a lie detector machine, but also it is an energy of the undercurrent of life. You see through people, you see through strategies, you see through the undercurrent. Sometimes people can tell you something with their words, but you just know deep down they're meaning something else. You read between the lines, and I feel a lot of you are tired of having that gift. I mean, it's a wonderful gift, but you may see it as a blessing and a curse. And some of you, it's this energy of like, you've got a superpower to some degree, and you're like, but it's hard, it's heavy. It always means I'm protecting myself against someone because you just want someone to be authentic and true and say it how it is. And those people are rare. Of course, there's lots of them out there, but you may have encountered circumstances where you've had to protect yourself because you've learned some lessons about people and about life, okay? And it feels heavy sometimes to always be on guard. But I feel like you are going to be in a position in your future where it feels freer, where you won't have to guard yourself. You're meeting the right people. The world won't feel so heavy. It's a process. It's slow moving, but I do feel that you are secure in your circumstances and you are removing yourself from anybody or anything that is not investing in your life, as it were, or feels secure, as it were. You know, temporary people get temporary access, if access at all. I feel some of you are like, okay, if no one's investing, you're shutting people out, withdrawing, silently removing yourself, maybe teaching them a lesson, what it feels like of not having your presence in their life, but at the same time, you're not doing it as a game. The Scorpion tells me that you make decisions based on self-preservation to protect your heart because it is so deep and it is so sensitive, and you feel everything to the very core of your soul, everything. What a person said about 10 years ago, you're still feeling it. What is happening in the world right now, you're still feeling it. And it's a lot. It can be overwhelming. If you think about Trident, Trident mastered the seas, the emotions. You know, the Trident actually is the commanding of Poseidon, of course, and it is the tool that helps command the seas. So it can be that you're trying to command your emotions, not feel overwhelmed by those, but they are your gift. If anyone has ever said that you're too intense, you're too anything, that normally means they're not enough for you. Okay, so this is about you readjusting the balance in your life right now. But we have here power to manipulate emotions, water journey, controlled emotions, Neptune. I mean, Neptune is, let's put it this way, this is going to be a very challenging reading for me, especially when I'm on a social media platform, but we have the world, okay, it's there, and we've got Neptune, which can be the hidden. So it can be that we are to some degree in an age of deception in some way, where, you know, the truth is not readily available, but you're reading between the lines. You know, it can be that there's a lot of fake stuff out there, and you're trying to source what is true. You know, you're not here to look at the illusion of stuff. You're here to, you know, dig a little bit deeper. And that knowledge carries a lot of responsibility, but also it can set you apart or alienate you from other people. Now, I don't know where this reading's going, but I feel like you're following your heart and you're finding the truth of a situation. Now, this could also be about like hidden conversations with your friends, for example. And what I mean by that is like gossip. I feel like you do not like gossip because you are kind of reminded that anyone who gossips in front of you about someone else, they're probably doing the same about you when you're not there. So it could be that you are trying to detach from people who are negative or talking negatively about others because you're like, you know what, I don't want that drama in my life. I feel like you lead with purpose and you don't want to involve yourself in anybody else's drama right now or ever, really. But this card, you know, it can indicate that you are aware that there are certain situations or emotions that try to manipulate how we feel about things. Or this could be that there is someone in your life who tried to manipulate you and how you feel about things, and you're detaching. So whether this is a very challenging person that you once loved or had a lot of time for or invested feelings in, they were manipulating your feelings because they knew that you cared so deeply for them. But because you do have the World card there, it can also be that you're aware that certain slogans like clickbait and all of those things, you know, they are there to manipulate feelings so that you click on it. Like, for example, oh my gosh, the world is going to end like in 30 seconds unless you click this link. And then you're like, well, no. But at the same time, you know, you're reading it briefly and thinking, oh, you know, sometimes these things just come up without you sourcing them. So I'm just highlighting that you are trying to remove yourself from anything that controls your emotions or manipulates you in any shape or form. And I feel like you are adding this factor that you're focusing on the layer of you right now, because yes, everybody and the world around you is shifting and changing and opportunities are changing, but I feel like you, in the middle of all of this, are coming back to your sense of self, to reignite your spark, your passions, joy, excitement, you know, adventure, and to reclaim your power in a situation. So that's the energy, and this is deep. I mean, literally, you probably can't see it, but I get quite intense when I'm going on a deep reading, and I can already feel that, you know, I'm getting goosebumps, and also, you know, sometimes you don't want to hear about it, but anyway, I get, you know, physical reactions to readings that go very, very deep. And let's just say I'm getting a very physical reaction in my body to this energy right now. So a lot of you are dealing with something very intense emotionally. So whether it is, you know, somebody or a circumstance, I feel like you are going to reclaim your power in this, and you're learning about it. You know, the graduation card indicates that you are observing and learning. So whether you're detaching and like trying to reconnect to your sense of self, rediscover who you are, or whether it is that you are, you know, gaining intelligence about what's going on around the world, or whether you are just focusing on a layer where you are moving towards success. You're conquering something within yourself and also outside of yourself where you feel more in command, where you feel more secure. And it may not feel like it right now because a lot of you with that Scorpion card, you may feel that there's been a lot of challenge and you just feel uncertain about certain territory, for example, because I feel this is uncharted territory. Okay, it can be there's a lot going on right now and you are on a journey. You're trying to be in the flow. Yes, I feel there's this energy of you trying to ground yourself, but more than anything, I feel like you're trying to get back into the flow of your life. I would say because this is a past position, a lot of you are trying to remember who you are. That's the energy I get, because this is all about knowledge and it's in the past. And I feel like you're an old soul. You came to this life with a lot of knowledge. I just feel a lot of you are trying to remember you in all of this, like responsibility and hardship and pressure. I just feel like you're remembering who you are, remembering your power. But it says here, recognition and achievement, learning something new. Some of you may feel that life has been one note for the last couple of years. Back in the past, because this is a past position, it can be that you used to do new things all the time, or you used to be curious about new things. Doesn't mean that curiosity hasn't gone away. It can be that you are so busy, you haven't got around to do new things, or it's too hard to get to new things right now, or perhaps it's too expensive to do new things right now. You may feel that there seem to be new things to explore in the past, but now as you start to graduate and we start to see the layers peeling away, because Neptune is to peel away and see what is really there, it can be that you realize everything's always been this way, the same. Maybe things are not as original as they used to be. This is a really random energy that's coming through, but I have to honor it because it's coming through. There is music throughout the years that sample the same sort of tune. And it's like you may be listening to something on the radio like, oh, it's this song. I love this song. And then actually it's another song. And you're like, what? Oh, it sounds like the other song. And they've sampled or taken the same. And it's almost like it's just replicating the same sort of tune, but they're just changing it. That's something that's coming out there. So it can be that you're looking at the nature of like repetition in life. How it's like somehow the same, but the experience is like a little bit off. I'm not sure what my guides are giving me there, but that's something that's coming through. Maybe this is a conversation you've had recently with somebody. So I'm just going to leave that there, okay? But, basically I feel a lot of you are learning life skills, are kind of like awakened, graduating to the next level in life. And sometimes, when you go through a spiritual awakening, because that's what I see here, you're going through a spiritual awakening. Sometimes it can feel isolating. Sometimes you have to feel disconnected or be put on pause in order to silence the noise, in order to kind of like rediscover your life philosophy or what's important, to tap into, deeper levels of you. The universe removes you from certain situations, people, or experiences before you have an upgrade. And I feel a lot of you are about to have this upgrade in your life in some way, but you had to go through a challenge to get there. We all have to go through life lessons before we upgrade or, graduate, I guess. And I feel a lot of you are on this precipice of change. Ultimately, I feel like you're trying to reconnect to your heart. You're someone who is very loving, very compassionate, but I feel this is about you falling in love with your life again, to rediscover the joys. Of course, there's always going to be responsibility, but I feel this is about you doing more things that you love, really kind of like embracing, I want to say whimsy to a certain degree, but I feel you have so much responsibility because when you get the world, it basically feels like you have the world on your shoulders, like Atlas, right? It can be that there's so much going on right now. It doesn't even have to be about the world. It can be that things are just heavy right now and you feel like you have the world on your shoulders to the point where you haven't had the luxury to really kind of even think about how you feel about it. You're just on autopilot. You're just doing. So this is like you kind of coming back to your heart center, looking at your heart chakra. But also I feel a lot of you've had some challenging experiences in love. And it can be that you've had your heart broken, smashed to little pieces. And you may be wondering, does love always equate pain? Or are you going to discover true love? The answer is yes, you're going to discover true love. I do feel that you're going to be in a high level commitment with someone who brings you a tea or a coffee in bed or a beverage or a juice or water, someone who's attentive to your needs, someone who cares, someone who really wants to settle down with you and thinks of the little things, someone who's thoughtful like you. I feel like you are going to meet that person. But if you're already in a relationship with a person already, I feel this is about you remembering that when you are in a relationship with someone that you are so deeply connected to, you merge to a point where you do lose a part of yourself. So I feel this is about you recognizing that, of course, you can be with your tribe, you know, your nearest and dearest, whoever they are, but also you are independent and free. And sometimes it's important to go off and do things that you love on your own. And this could be that you've been yearning to do that, but it hasn't fallen that way. But I do see, because this is the potential position, this is about you falling in love with your life again. It's about you being free to follow your heart, but also it's about, you know, doing things that you love for you. Really simple. It's like you're coming back, because this is such a simple thing here. One little drop in the ocean has a huge ripple effect. And you've got lots of cards here about water. I mean, for some of you, this could be you need to hydrate, right? But it can be that one little drop has a huge effect in a massive body of water. It ripples out. So it can be that for some of you, if you think about the world, it's such a vast place. Sometimes we think about this and we think how small we are in the whole scale of things, but actually how powerful you are, because one drop has the power to change everything, and ripple effect has consequences, far-reaching as well. So I feel a lot of you are rediscovering that one thought, one action, I mean, it can literally change everything. You can go up to a person and you can give a person a compliment, something that you feel is very small, a moment, but to them, it can be the world. It can literally change their life. You don't know what they're going through. They could be really going through one of the worst days of their life. And you have a moment where you stop and you recognize, because intuitively you're drawn to that person, but also on a surface level, you're giving them a compliment about something. And it means the world. It has the power to really change their mood or change their mindset in some way. Our actions, no matter how small, are far-reaching. And these are thoughts, words, the way we conduct ourselves. And I feel like you are realizing how powerful you are, not just to affect other people and be an influencer in your circumstances, but also how powerful you are to change your life. I feel like a lot of you are doing something right now where you're rediscovering who you are. There's a depth to you. You're connected to your heart. You're going after something. And this next move that you make, whatever this is, it's big. It's real big. And I feel it sets you free. It gives you peace. It may take a while to see the long effects that it has, but your future self will thank you, because you have more power. There's self-control, there's leadership, there's personal power, strength, courage. This is about you leading in a position and saying, this is who I am. Not questioning where I feel like you're at right now, like, where have I been? You're on hold for a little bit, I feel, and now you're becoming. There's a becoming energy here, okay? It says here, emotions, focused on love, heart's calling, affairs of the heart. This is about you passionately following your heart's calling, your sense of purpose. And I feel there is this energy rising up within you where you are changing your world in some way that is going to see you in a very stable position. Okay, and this could be stable emotionally, could be stable within friendships. I mean, I'm not seeing like much kind of people energy apart from the source of there, because it has gossips, rumor, insincere friends, interference. Sometimes people are sent into your life to block your greatness. You know, people don't really interfere into people's lives when they don't feel like they're on a path to greatness. So if you ever feeling like you're meeting a person who tells you your ideas are not great, or, you know, you've got a hater, they normally hate in you what they feel like they lack in themselves at this moment in their life. Now, they may go on to do great things as well, but they have to discover that within themselves. But sometimes we have to acknowledge that when people try to block us in any shape or form, or be negative, or tear us down, it's normally because they see our potential, they sense our greatness, and they want to make sure that you don't reach it. So I feel right now you are detaching from disrespect. You're detaching from negativity or people who are insincere or circumstances that you feel are not conducive to enriching your world, because you're focused on the world right there. And our first world is our inner world. our thoughts, how we feel about ourselves. So you're going to be conquering intrusive thoughts within yourself. You're going to be managing your feelings to a different degree, recognizing that releasing pressure, through tears, anger, frustration, getting it out is important. Holding it in is only going to block the flow. And looking at your energy, I feel like you're trying to be back in the flow. We have the ripple effect. So I feel a lot of you are making a big heart-based decision to do something, whether it is to relocate, whether it is to move into a new job, follow a certain path, whether it is to fall in love with a person that perhaps, people gossip about. I feel like you don't really care if people like the person you fall in love with or not. You're the sort of person who falls in love for love. So I feel this is about you, being your authentic truth. But it says you're making an impact. You're an influencer. You're spreading, either your joy, your love, your information, your knowledge. Because I feel like you are influencing people around you with your truth. But it also says a series of consequences. So I feel for some of you, you may be having like a set of consequences that you're dealing with based on some sort of event that had a ripple effect. But I feel like you are managing it. So if you've had some challenge over the last couple of years, I feel that was the foundation that was shook, and now you're managing it, dealing with the fallout, as it were, and you're going to dissipate that energy. It feels like you're finding yourself back in the flow. You are rising up, that phoenix rising from the ashes. But also, I feel like you are making an impact in your life in the near future. You're about to do something that is going to be so monumental. You're going to be so proud of yourself. You had the courage to follow your heart on something, and it transforms everything. So this could be that you're going to get a little bit more explorative, a little bit more adventurous, take more calculated risks. Perhaps you're going to be more spontaneous. Maybe you are discovering, because I feel a lot of you are going to start feeling more yourself than you have for a long time. And that spark, it's always been there, never went away. You are literally the center of the earth. You are the core of magma. And I feel like this is about you being in the flow. And what happens when, of course, magma and lava flows up from a volcano? Well, number one, it releases the pressure. Number two, it creates new landscapes that solidify. And I feel like you are on the precipice of changing the landscapes in your life. And that's hard. It requires a lot of energy to do new things or to explore new territory in life and make it solid. You don't know how things are going to go, but I can see here you're making it solid. Okay, and you're going to be secure. We also have the Buddha. Okay, so this is about you protecting your inner peace. So that's why you may feel a lot of detachment in circumstances, withdrawing into self, really, going deep, cathartically letting go of emotions that perhaps you feel have been blocked or pent up for some time. But it says here, fulfilling your destiny. You feel called to do something. Something is your destiny. And you may have felt it's been blocked with the handcuffs, or it's been hard. You may have felt tied to responsibility in some way. But the universe is aligning you with you to be able to do both. And it says here, positive thinking, reflection, understanding. A lot of knowledge. It's like you're trying to understand what's different in your world. You're trying to understand the world that you find yourself in. You're trying to understand why people do certain things, why they think a certain way, why you react to certain things, what triggers you. I feel like you are in a period of knowledge and understanding and just seeing things in a different way. And that can really make you feel a heaviness because you're encompassing it all. And then thinking of the deeper thought of well, what's it all about? Why? Why is this happening? What's the chess moves of life? What's going on? Why did that person do that? Why did they say this? Why is that happening over in that country? What's happening in this country? What's happening here? I feel like you are just looking at everything right now and witnessing and just having this deep reaction to it where you're intuitively trying to work out where you're at with things. This is a reading that I'm wow, I'm not really sure where it's going and what direction, but perhaps someone out there is feeling this right now. So we have the turtle. Now, the turtle is slow moving, so it's interesting because I feel this energy where it's you're not seeing what I see, but I wish you could, because when I see this card, I'm seeing it in the water, and actually the globe is spinning real fast in the water, okay? But also we've got this turtle energy, so it can be that you may feel like you are noticing times speeding up, and somehow you're in the same place, or it just feels like you're not getting as much done as you used to, for example, or you feel like you're always running out of time. You know, everything is like a slow moving process, but it feels like the world is whizzing around you somehow. So I feel there is this energy of trying to be in the flow, but be grounded and recognize that, you know, connections with people, building memories, finding purpose is important. That grounds you. But it says here, slow moving, taking a while, slow and steady progress, and not rushing. I feel like you don't want to rush in a world that's trying to make you rush. I feel like you're trying to get back to nature. I feel like you're trying to build your security. You're very thoughtful and methodical about something right now, but also trying to find the spontaneity in it. And I know that sounds like a contradiction in terms, but maybe you feel there are different moments in your life where you are a wonderful question mark, you know, a contradiction, where you're a mystery, maybe even a mystery to yourself sometimes, where you're like, why did I do that? That was weird. But then knowing, actually, I know why I did that. So it can be you're trying to find the flow between the two. But I would say the turtle is very important, because the turtle has a home on its back. Okay. And at any moment where it feels that it is not in a safe environment, whether it is with a friendship, where you feel this person's not telling me the truth, or you feel actually, you know, you're feeling a bit uncertain about changes in life, that turtle can go into the shell. The scorpion can hide in a crack. So it feels like there's self-preservation going on here, and need to feel secure in your circumstances. So you may be making some solid moves in your life to protect your finances, maybe move to a different country, maybe move to a different environment, or maybe you feel like your neighborhood is changing. I just feel like there's a lot of change going on around you, and you're trying to make sure that you don't get stuck in it. You know, the worst thing for a Scorpio is to feel stuck, to feel bound to something, and you need to be free. So I feel a lot of you, you know, you're being really disciplined to remove yourself from situations that keep you locked in or manipulate you into a circumstance where you feel like you don't have a way out. You know, I actually joked myself the other day with someone where I said, you know what, I've looked back on my life and I thought I've always needed an exit point. Like, I always thought I need an exit. You know, it's like, yeah, I like this contract, it's great, but where's the exit bit? Or, you know, if I was in like, and this is so random that I'm telling you about this, but my guys are giving it to me right now. Like, whenever I go and I stay in like, I don't know, if I'm traveling abroad and I'm staying in my family's house abroad, for example, I will make sure I'm in a room where the bed is next to the door. And I'm like, that's weird, but I always feel like I need to have an exit. You know, it's not that I don't feel secure in that environment. It's always like, I need to know where the exit is. You know, it makes me feel claustrophobic if I feel locked into something, even if I've got like the biggest room in the world, right? I'd be like, where's the door, or where's the window? I need the way out, right? So it could be that you are right now looking at making sure you have more freedom, more independence in a circumstance. And I feel it comes from this rooted energy of freedom, circumstances, making you feel independent, to be able to go off and choose to do your own thing. Like, you want to settle down, you want to, you know, connect to certain things that bring you stability, but also you need to know that if you change your mind, there's always an alternative way. And I feel that right now there is this energy of making sure that you are in command, you lead, and you make the decisions for your life, okay? We do have, this is a hope and a fear position, right? And this is the handcuffs. The fear is to be bound to something that is toxic, or be addicted to something that you cannot be free of. I mean, some of you, you've had some very toxic situations or relationships that you've connected to, and you may be just fearful that you will connect to these things again. I definitely see that you are detoxifying from those things or that energy so that you've completed a cycle. The world indicates you're in a new era. It means that you are entering into a new cycle of life. You've done a lot of learning. I feel like you have started to upgrade your life in some way, or you're on a vibration to do that right now. There is an elevation happening here, and it took a lot of your strength and energy and challenge to get to this plateau in the first place. And you know, you read this card in the reverse as well as the upright. So I feel where you were stuck, you are now released. You know, this is the equivalent of the Devil card. So if you felt that you were, you know, stuck in a situation, whether it was fear, whether it was anxiety, whether it was actually a contract, whether it was a marriage that was toxic, whether it was, an apartment with a really not very nice landlord, whether it was, anything that you felt bound to. I feel like you are freeing yourself up. The cycle has ended. You're like, I've learned that actually I'm taking back my power. I don't need to deal with this. Life's too short. I'm not dealing with this. I'm out. So that's something that's coming through right now for some of you. But it does say here, being held back, loss of freedom, overly possessive behavior, feeling powerless. So the fear is all of those things. So you're kind of like watching, waiting, observing, and making sure you're always in a position to self-preserve. And that can be across the board to any situation. We also have the chair. Now, what do you do when you sit in the chair? You kind of like watch, or you feel comfortable. It says there, wait, taking no action, not the right time, holding back and avoiding. So I feel because we have the saucer there as well, this could be that you are maybe listening in to friendships, certain friendships that you feel are evolving. Maybe there's one person in particular that you feel, there's a detachment there, or you feel like they're hiding something. It can be that you're just letting them talk, watching and waiting, listening to what they say, watching their words and their actions. Do they match? It can be that, someone has told you an untruth and you're aware of that. You learned about it. You got the knowledge of it. And now you're just going, you know what? I really cared about this person. And it saddens me that I have to detach, but I feel a certain way about this. And now I'm just going to wait and see if they reveal the truth, because I already know the truth. I'm just going to see if they come forward. There is a power in that. It's not that you're playing games. It's like, I'm giving you an option and an opportunity to come clean. And if they don't do it, then you're like, okay, well then I am going to remove my presence from your life. Detach, the end, cut. So some of you, it could be that, because we do have gossip, rumors, insincere friends, interference. Your secrets are not safe. I mean, it could be someone who's trying to interfere in your life and you're like, but out. You're just watching and waiting and seeing their behavior and wondering what to do next with it. But what you do next, it will have a consequence, a ripple effect, and you don't want to be bound by that. So I feel this is about doing the right action in order to be free of it, free of someone else's drama. But it says here as well, holding back, avoiding. So I feel like you're avoiding drama, you're avoiding insincere friends or non-authentic situations. I feel like, the lion has gravitas. The lion says, you know what, this is my domain. This is my world. You're starting with the world. This is my world, and I am in command of this world. And you may enter my world, but I get to decide whether you stay in it. The lion does not need permission to, take agency over their life, to be in command. The lion goes after what they want, and, will capture the object of its desire to eat, for example. Self-preservation, again, it's like you're going after something that will benefit your life, that will nourish your life. The lion is in command, has a lot of power. So I feel like you are finding your way back towards your power, your spark, to your gravitas, to your creativity, to your courage of heart, to release that beast within, that creative beast, that creative kind of like energy, that lust for life, that passionate soul. For example, and I'm just going to give you an example because these may be lots of just thoughts coming out and like, well, how do I apply that to life? For example, you may be searching for love, right? You may be like, I really want love, but there's nobody out there right now. So I've decided to withdraw, live a private life right now and connect to my projects, follow my heart, my creativity, all of those things. But you may feel that, okay, when you decide to go out there and find yourself in a position to meet new people, you may go, oh, I've met a really nice person and they're lovely, but they're not giving me that spark. I haven't met anything that's like all consuming, that big love story. So it can be that you're like, okay, it's really hard right now. Your hands are tied. There's no options. It's slow moving. You're focused on your life philosophy. You're focused on having a peaceful life, connecting to your belief system, your morals, reinforcing boundaries, healthier relationships. You're honoring your emotions, making sure that you put yourself in situations to meet people who value your emotions and your authenticity and your pure heart. And until then, you are deciding to have no action. You're waiting. Okay, but you're still going to do things that you're passionate about, that bring you joy, to put yourself in positions to meet new people. And when you meet the right relationship, then it will be all-consuming. Then that person has that spark, that missing ingredient. And I feel this is about you recognizing that you are the one. You know, society tells us we're searching for the one, which means we're always searching outside of ourselves. You're whole all by yourself. You got the World card, which is a wholeness. So, you know, it's not that there's something missing within you. Everything is still within you. That passion, that magma, all of that. It's about the little missing ingredients that spark the flames within us. Things that are outside ourselves. So it can be that you're about to reignite that spark, meet a person that you passionately want to be in a relationship with, someone who takes the lead sometimes, but also allows you to lead, you know. So it can be applied to many different layers. It doesn't have to be about the world, doesn't have to be about love, doesn't have to be about relationships at all. It can be that now you remember who you are and you're taking leadership of your life, and no distractions, no fear. This is your personal power. It literally says there, self-control, leadership, personal power, strength, and courage. You're having the courage to be you in a world that wants you to be like everybody else. You're unique. You are you. So this is you finding your way back to you. That's what I feel this whole reading is about. I mean, there's a lot going on there, and a lot of you are going to be like, nope, 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 not resonating. But I have to honor the energy. You know, it'll be different for everybody, of course, but I feel this is something that had to come out in this particular reading. Okay, so I'm just going to go. I think they want that card. It's popping out there too. New beginning, new world, reassurance. My guides asked me for one more, so I'll give it. Scorpio, why is it your readings are the longest? I always feel that your readings are the longest because I'm also a Scorpio and I have to detach from my own energy and how I feel about anything. Okay, because I'm not here to give you a reading that is influenced by my energy. So sometimes that's like much harder, okay, and it has a more profound effect on my body as well there. But we've got number one. You are the one. Remember, you are number one. So you're prioritizing your own needs, coming back to self, grounding, being in the flow. But it says here, new beginning. So I feel a lot of you are navigating a new world or trying to, and it's hard. But it says here, your energy is fertile and brimming with potential, ready to bring forth new creations. Each moment presents us with a new opportunity to embrace our true essence. That's it. You're finding or rediscovering, reconnecting to your true essence, and nurture growth in every aspect of our existence, the world, your whole existence. Let your spirit soar and find joy in every step, for there is a miracle in every new beginning. So navigating this brand new world, there are merits to it. You are going to rise up. We also have follow your dream. 1010. These are numbers that you may see. This is a beautiful deck there, the Divine Illumination deck there, and it is an oracle, angel number, oracle deck. And it says here, follow your dream. Enjoy the road you have taken towards your goals and dreams, and trust that the hard choices that you've had to make are in line with who you already are and who you also aspire to be. Be ready to step out of your comfort zone and watch the magic happen. So again, there's something in that card about who you feel like you were, who you feel like you are now, and who you aspire to be. There's a connection in that. We've also got patience. So a slow-moving process there, but it says, when the winds of uncertainty blow and the mind races with indecision or fear, remember to slow down and surrender to where you are right now. Cultivate patience in your soul, for it is in the stillness between actions where the seeds of profound growth are sown. Slow down, breathe deeply, and trust that all is well. Now, as I said, you may feel that there is this busyness outside of the world, you know, and still you may feel there is a stillness, or you feel like you're in the same place. Maybe you feel like, although you've had a lot of challenge, that there's an energy of needing to find more pause in your life, to slow down so that you can hear your heart. It whispers. It has all the answers within it. So it can be that in stillness, wisdom is delivered. And, you know, you may be feeling that as you eradicate a lot of drama from your life, other people's drama, it can be that sometimes life feels a little bit like same, repetitive, or dull and boring. But actually it is here in the stillness, because you're cultivating it with the Buddha there, that stillness. This is where you gather the wisdom to help you with the next steps and help you towards financial freedom, personal freedom, freedom of choice, all of those things, because then you know your heart deeper. You know what you want. It says here, oh, my guide said the next card. Yeah, creativity is the next card. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. It says creativity, number 33. The other one was 636. It says, when you tap into the creative energy within, you unlock the riches of your inner being and bring your vision to life. Allow your heart to open. Let your emotions flow and give voice to your soul. Embrace the freedom to express yourself fully, for this is where the true magic and creativity are born. I definitely see that you are unleashing, you know, that pent-up energy within yourself in order to be more creative, attract more new beginnings and opportunities. But also you have 343, and it says reassurance. So this is you, like, of course, there's self-preservation here, wanting and needing to make sure that you and your family and the people you care about are secure. I feel like the hands of the universe are going to send you opportunities and knowledge that you are guided and you are protected, okay? It says here, your loving angels are always by your side, watching over you and guiding you towards your dreams. As you consistently pour your heart into your journey, you will soon see your dreams come to fruition. Know that you are never alone and that the universe is always conspiring in your favor, okay? Sometimes challenge equips us with the knowledge that we will need later on. Not so that you have to always navigate more challenge, but so that you can be free to welcome in more joy. Sometimes we have to relearn how to let our hair down or have fun, especially if you've been through challenge or trauma. So I'm sending you a huge hug out there, my beautiful Scorpio. I can see that things have been challenging there, and there's a lot of deep layers to you and thoughts going on right now. For some of you, as I said, it may not resonate with all of you there, but I have to honor what came out. I'm just going to go and get a trinket or a room before we close. Also, I am running a competition to do a free reading for one subscriber to win a free personal reading from me. If you'd like to enter that, all you have to do is listen to your favorite song that makes you feel really high vibrations, okay? Now, I hope you do that because, of course, it changes vibrations, and we really need that in the world at this moment in time. And if you have a moment, then write it in the comments box below as well, because I want to expand my music library as well. But you don't have to do that part. The only part you have to really do if you want to enter is to put an emoji in the comments box below of a candle. And if you don't have access to a emoji like that, then just write the word candle, and I will enter everyone into the competition. My guides will guide me to a person, and I will announce the winner at the end of September, okay? It's a long period, but it gives everybody enough chances to enter there as well. So we have the dragon. So this is about you rising up. The dragon is closely linked to the phoenix rising from the ashes there. So I feel this is about you, like, rebirthing in some way, having that power, rising up after adversity or challenge, rediscovering who you are and how powerful you are to kind of like reinform your landscapes, or kind of like reinform your life in some way. We've also got the guitar, which is about fine-tuning, being in a vibration that matches what you desire. There's stars on this guitar as well, which is about hopes, dreams, and wishes. But I feel this is about you kind of aligning and being in tune, being in harmony with your emotions and how it affects your outer world as well. But also some of you are going to get a little bit more creative, and music really helps elevate your mood as well. So if you have moments of feeling very low or under pressure, music will lift you up, okay? So I'll leave it there. I hope something resonates with you with that reading. I do see things getting infinitely better for you and a major breakthrough happening. This is going to make a massive impact that is so positive. But I will leave it there. I hope something resonates. Thank you so much, and love and light.